Remember when False Swipe Gaming would mention Gastly in every GSCNU section? Good times. Gastly is pretty awful in GSCNU. While it does possess some incredible traits, it has numerous flaws that largely negate its positive attributes. Gastly is immune to normal moves, but it's very frail and weak to common attacking types. It has a good special attack stat, but it doesn't have stab on any special moves. Gastly is very rarely seen, and it's a big matchup fish. If it doesn't run into one of the Pokemon it can wall, it probably won't do much. Its presence invites in certain foes. Its fragility makes it too difficult to justify Gastly on most teams. It's not completely unviable, but it isn't a good Pokemon. Let's analyse the Gas Pokemon. Outside of its good special attack and decent speed, Gastly stats are very underwhelming. Its special attack stat is impressive though. Its special attack stat is higher than Xatu's is, and it's tied for the second highest in the tier overall. Gastly doesn't have any stab special moves, but it does have Psychic, Thunderbolt, and the special attacking hidden powers. Gastly also learns Explosion, which hits like a truck in spite of Gastly's poor attack stat. Gastly's most valuable asset is its Ghost typing. Gastly is the only legal Ghost type in GSCNU. This grants it a valuable immunity to normal. Gastly completely walls mono-normal attackers, like Curse Wigglytuff, Curse Dunsparce, Curse Porygon, and Curse Noctowl. Gastly also blocks Rapid Spin from Pineco. Gastly is fantastic at punishing Pineco. It doesn't give a crap about Explosion, and blocks the Bagworm's attempts to Rapid Spin. It's even immune to Toxic Pineco. Pineco is very common, and nothing punishes it better than Gastly does. Being able to punish Pineco, as well as wall threats like Wigglytuff, is very nice. Gastly's normal immunity is also an Explosion and Self-Destruct immunity. Pineco and Weezing's explosions OHKO nearly everything that doesn't resist them, or in Gastly's case, is immune to them. If Pineco or Weezing are on their last legs and about to explode, you can just go to Gastly. Pineco or Weezing get KO'd, and their explosion was meaningless. Gastly can also dodge booms from Sudowoodo and Graveler, but blocking them is far more risky, considering they use Earthquake. Gastly is also fighting immune, letting a wall Rest Hawk Body Slam Hitmonlee. It can somewhat check Thunder Primeape if it's Double Edge over Rock Slide, but it's shaky at doing that. A non-stab Thunder off of 60 special attack is troubling for Gastly. How mediocre. Gastly is marginally annoying to switch into. Thunderbolt 2KOs water and flying types, including Octillery, Kingler, Xatu, and Fearow. Psychic 2KOs Weezing, Gloom, and Primeape. It has a chance to drop the fall's special defense, which shouldn't be forgotten about. Explosion is a way to get some more value out of Gastly if it can't break through the opposing Pokemon. Explosion deals a huge amount of damage to Pokemon like Ninetales, Chinchou, Rapidash, and Magmar, who otherwise eat Gastly's hits. Gastly's fourth move is its most expendable, and in my opinion, Hidden Power Water is the best option. Hidden Power Water 2KO's Dugtrio after Spikes, a Pokemon that otherwise abuses Gastly to hell and back. It also OHKOs Graveler and does a shit ton to Pupitar. Hidden Power Water is your strongest hit against fire types outside of Explosion, but the damage is still very meager. People used to run Thief as Gastly's fourth move, a move that could steal leftovers from a bulky Pokemon, but nowadays, you really want to pressure Dugtrio switch-ins. Gastly is primarily used on offensive teams. You want a Pokemon that can switch into Xatu and Dugtrio alongside it, which can be fulfilled by Dugong, Octillery, or Wigglytuff. Hyper offense teams that really want to keep spikes up can run Gastly for its ability to spin block and keep the pressure up. Spike support from Pineco is greatly appreciated, as it makes Gastly's attacks sting as hard as possible. Gastly needs as much help as it can get, because it is not a good Pokemon. Now it's time to start crapping on this silly little ghost. Gastly is a thoroughly flawed Pokemon. Its bulk is absolutely terrible. Almost every neutral attack to it KOs it, and several Pokemon can one-hit KO it. Gastly is a poison type, so it's weak to Psychic and Ground. Gastly gets outsped and one-hit KO'd by Xatu, Dugtrio, and Statler, aka the 3 most common offensive Pokemon in the tier. Other prominent offensive threats, like Fearow, similarly outspeed and ravage Gastly. This poor bulk makes it difficult to fit Gastly on a team. You become weaker to threats like Statler and Dugtrio by using it. Gastly also lacks power. If Gastly doesn't hit the opponent super effectively, then they're probably fine against it. Gastly is bad at breaking through the likes of Chinchou, Statler, Porygon, Ninetales, Magmar, and Rapidash, unless you use Explosion. Using Explosion kills Gastly though. Sacrificing your Gastly now makes Curse Normals a huge threat, and you would lose the ability to spin block. Gastly isn't very good at making progress unless it explodes, but then with it gone, you are now weaker to normal types. Gastly's poor bulk means it has a little opportunity to switch in, unless your opponent has one of the Pokemon that it waltz. Gastly also sits in an awkward speed tier. It does outspeed threats like Weezing and Kingler, but it's also outsped by Statler, Xatu, Primeape, and Magmar, among other threats. Gastly is a big matchup fish. When you load Gastly, you hope that your opponent has a Curse Normal that you wall, because if they don't, Gastly probably isn't going to do much. By the way, those Curse Normals, bar Noctowl, aren't threatened too badly by Gastly. I've had games where Wigglytuff managed to PP stall Gastly since it didn't get a crit or a special defense drop. You can't even use Struggle because one of Gastly's moves happens to kill itself. Wow. Gastly is too inconsistent, too matchup fishy, and too difficult to fit on teams. I wouldn't recommend this little ghost. Gastly's flaws have kept it from seeing success over the years. There was no reason to use it in the Mr. Mime metagame, considering Haunter was legal back then. Haunter was pretty good, but I doubt Gastly would have been a good replacement. Gastly was entirely unviable until 2018, when Haunter fucked off and moved up to UU. People thought it would be a decent replacement for Haunter, but they slowly realised that it wasn't. Gastly was very mediocre in the Raichu metagames, for reasons similar to the current metagame. Its bulk is bad, its speed is merely decent, and it often had to use Explosion to actually make progress. It still sucked versus top Pokemon, like Xatu and Dugtrio, but also Raichu completely dominated it back then. It was only used 4 times in the 2019 edition of NUPL, and it lost all 4 of its games. Gastly is crap.